Costanza was teaching them how to bat. That was like 96. That was 96. No, it was after 96.
Ready?
So it must be
Okay,
like
guys, we're going to
97.
start.
97.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for attending tonight. Tonight is a town board work session. It's Wednesday, January 22nd. We did have executive session where we spoke about garbage district contractual, board vacancies, and the PBA contract. So all town board members are present with the exception of Supervisor Schmidt, who is home recovering. He's doing well and he's looking forward to getting back. And he thanks everybody for all of their well wishes. And we have Greg Fulchetti down here, Annie Pascarella, and then we have Jimmy Gilchrist and Rich Franzetti in the audience from the town as well. And Mike, would you do the pledge tonight?
Yes. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just take a moment, remember all our servicemen that are serving abroad. Thank you.
So the first item on the agenda is to review the town board minutes of January 15th, 2020. Does anybody have any comments? Everybody good? All right. So the second is to consider deletions to the active list of the Mahopac Volunteer Fire Department. These individuals have asked to be removed from the rolls, and we would like to respectfully request the town to remove the following: Theodore Martin, Marlena Whitbeck, Drew Kanash Jr., Brianna Speckman, Jamie Fieldale, and Max Marino, who's deceased. We want to thank them for serving with the Mahopac Volunteer Fire Department, and next week we will have a resolution. Closer?
Yeah.
Thank you. Ooh, yeah. This second agenda, actually, we have the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth is with Recreation and Jimmy Gilchrist, if you'd like to come up. Jimmy, the first one is the landscaping grass cutting services increase in Airport Park.
Okay. And I have some additional backup that I was going to give you guys. I had the contractor justify the increase in the cuttings. So as everybody's aware, we've developed the Airport Park where it was an open grass strip where we were cutting that and maintaining it for the kids who play soccer up there. We developed the park into a large facility which has 5 high school and bigger sized fields, playground area, an area where the building's going to go, and a lot of surrounding areas. So the square footage of the park has dramatically increased, and obviously the grass cutting costs would go up. We have a contract that we do the grass cutting throughout the town in our larger parks. We had a contract that was approved in 2018, and it goes forward until 2022. So I work with the contractor. We work back and forth on pricing. The increase, I think the increase is about $276 over what the previous cost was for cutting that park. And if you look at that price, say compared to Camarda Park, it still costs more to cut Camarda Park because of the hills, fences. There's a lot of obstacles there. The Airport Park, they'll be able to cut that with a wing mower. It's a wide open area, so that the time-wise, they'll be very efficient out there cutting. And that went into their price.
Okay.
And we'll still be maintaining the grass on the outside of the park. That's on the county side where the parking lot is, and we have the container that goes down that hilly area.
So Recreation's going to be
We've been
maintaining that?
we'll be maintaining that through this year. That's where the kids are going to continue to play out there because the park is closed until the fall. And that's factored into this price also that we have up there.
So for
Okay.
$276, they're cutting an additional 9 acres of property.
That's correct, yep.
Okay. And I saw that in the 2020 budget, you have this included.
What I did is we increased the maintenance line by $50,000. I thought this would cost significantly more. but the $50,000 would cost the additional cutting at the airport park.
You should never admit that, by the way.
But yeah, the next item is going to be the fertilization program. Overseeding, we're going to hit it heavy in the spring and the fall with overseeding. You're probably $10,000 to $12,000 in that. And then we have, we've already done winter fertilization in last year's budget. We'll be doing a fertilization program, which is going to significantly use the rest of that money up. That we'll stay in budget, but it'll be pretty close with that.
Okay, and Jimmy, this contract goes for 20 and 21.
I think it
It
goes
looks-
until, I think it's 2 more years, this year and next year, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
20 and 21, so it ends
Yes.
so in 2022, you have to
Yep.
get a new one. Okay.
And
Does
we've
any-
done this is our, Dave, we've done this, what, about 12 years now, cutting the grass?
Change order? It's a change order.
Yeah, this is probably, this is our third cycle on it, of 4-year clip, so.
Okay, so next week, Greg, we'll have to have my famous word that I hate, is a change order to it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Resolution.
Resolution. Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
No.
Okay. So Jimmy, the next item is this summer camp bus bid, which we do every year.
Yep, it's the, just so Bob's aware of it also, each year for the summer camp program, we go out to bid. We send out about 20 notices to different bus companies. We also put it in the paper. This would cover our summer camp trips. We do 2 trips with the older children, and then the primary does 1 trip over to the 4-H fair. The response is very, very light coming back. Bauman Bus has been our contractor for the last number of years. Yeah, and we've gone through First Union and a bunch of other companies. But typically what we do is whoever gets the lowest bid price, the supervisor and I would go and actually go out and meet whoever the district, or whoever is the bus district supervisor. We conduct an on-site interview. We request all copies of licenses from the bus drivers that'll be driving our children around to different sites. And we actually have our police department do a thorough background check on those drivers. And we double check the day of to make sure that the drivers are there. So we do get substitute lists of people that could sub in. Usually you'll have a dispatcher or somebody in the bus garage if somebody's not able to make it. But we've been fortunate over the last number of years with the bus company that majority of our drivers are from Yorktown and from Mayapack, and we know mostly all of them.
Yeah,
So,
you've been
great
pretty
company to
good
work
with
with.
them.
Yep. So this is something that we put onto the town clerk, and she'll put it out to bid for us.
Okay, perfect. Any questions from
No,
anyone?
sounds good.
Okay. Jimmy, the next item is to accept the proposal for the bids, proposal for Phase 3 Airport Park improvements. This is the water sewer supply.
And it's basically all the utilities at the airport park. This is our final phase for the airport park. We've put a lot of time and effort into this last phase. As you're all aware, we've done water testing out at the golf course. We've done lake studies down at Lake McGregor. We've carried a permitted, we have a septic system that's approved by the health department, that's ready to go. We've dealt with electricians, trying to find out the best way to bring electric into the park. Same thing with water. So we've had 2 meetings with the engineering department. Dave Fafaro and myself have met, we've gone over this. We met with Inside Engineering. We're going to work together with the town engineering department and along with Inside Engineering on doing these services for these different items that need to be done. The first would be bringing electric source in from Scott Road. This would go out, we feel that the number will come under the threshold for a bid. So we're recommending having Inside Engineering put together an RFP and put it out for request for proposal. And the reason for this is for a faster return, because we're hoping to getting going on construction out there in early spring. So instead of having generators run on site, we were hoping to have the electric service in. And also, this is critical for the irrigation system, for all the controls that would be necessary on the park side. The next would be a bid that would be for the septic system and also for the water line. Those utilities would be in the same bid that would go out. We've done the numbers on both those, and it'll be over what the threshold is for an RFP. So that would have to go out as a formal bid. We would have Inside Engineering put the bid packages together, help the town put it out to bid, and our construction management would be done by our town engineering department, on-site inspections and all that. But the other permitting would be done through Inside Engineering, the final as-builts for the septic system and whatever else is necessary for that. And then the last piece would be the irrigation coming from well number 7 on the golf course. That would be designing a system where you'd have electric being brought out from, there's 2 sources out there with 3-phase power. So we would work with, the Inside Engineering would work with an electrical engineer to figure out which would be the best source there. They would also put all of the, any easements that are required, surveys and all that, that would be taken care of as part of this package. And they would design a system for bringing the water from that well up to the airport park to the irrigation system. There would be a small tank, like a pressure tank up, that would be probably in a shed up at the park. But this would be a direct feed system. We've tested the well, and it'll more than handle what our needs are for irrigation for that park.
Okay.
So our plan on this, we went over some rough dates, just to give you guys an idea of time-wise. We're presenting tonight. We're hoping that this will pass for a vote on February 2nd. This would go out as a public notice to the town clerk on February 13th. February 20th, the plans would go out for bid. The bid date would be March 12th. That's when they would be returned. We're looking to come on a work session on March 25th.
Jim, I don't mean to interrupt you. I think the meeting is February 5th, not the 2nd.
Okay, February 5th.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if that changes your time.
No.
If you change it- Okay, I just wanted
About the
to,
same. So then we would, our plan is would bring the bids to you guys on March 25th as a work session, having the vote on April 1st, which would give the contractor April and May to get the irrigation system in. Our plan has always been to get it in before June. We obviously have to work around, the county's been wonderful with this whole process, but we obviously have to work around the golf schedule. We would have an area of probably 50 to 60 feet that we would disturb the grass area from the well to the wood line, but that can be done, we've already talked to the contractors, that can be done so it would not impact the golf game. And the rest is out of the area where the people would be playing golf.
All right. So Jimmy, I just want to clarify this here, the proposal for the airport park Phase 3, the park improvements is for design, and they're budgeting up to $6,000 for the park electric service, $22,500 for the irrigation well improvements, and $13,500 for the domestic water and sewer improvements, for a total of $42,000. I just want to make people, because I called you the other day, and I was like, wow, that's pretty good for all of this. But then you reminded me that on top of that, there's now going to be other work that needs to be done, which is a little bit hefty. So this is the design phase of this work up there, okay? And it's broken down, and it's not, he can go up to that amount. Sometimes
These
it
are
may
budget
not.
numbers that they
They're
gave us.
budget numbers.
And
Yep.
we've used them for a number of our park projects, and we've stayed within budget on our park
Yep.
project. Where you can get a little tight is if we get into, situations with a contractor. Or, we might, if we have some issues with the DEP or the DEC, that's where it can get a little dicey. But we feel comfortable that we'd be able to handle it within this.
Yeah, perfect.
And
Jimmy,
we were able
just-
to lower this number with the assistance of the Carmel Engineering Department.
Yep,
The original numbers that we had were higher, and we were able to negotiate those down.
all right, good.
with
Thank you, Rich.
Rich helping out.
Yeah. And Jimmy, the timeline that you mentioned too, can you just shoot us an email with that?
Sure.
I know it's not set in stone, but at least so we have something
Well,
to work
that's
on.
for the irrigation side.
Right.
The electric side, once we get approval to go, Inside Engineering is waiting. They've already have an electrical contractor. They have everybody waiting for the approval.
Yep,
So once we give them the approval, then we'll be able to give you a really good timeline. But I can tell you the electric would go in early spring, and the septic and water would probably be going on the same time that the irrigation's going on. But again, that's not a time-sensitive project.
Right.
The irrigation
The
is, we have to stay
irrigation
on
is-
top of that and
Yeah.
move that along.
Yeah, perfect.
Quick
Thank you.
question, the irrigation system, that's going to come from the county well?
Yes.
And that's located where?
That's on the backside of the golf course. So you know where the maintenance building is, behind the clubhouse?
Right.
There's a road, if you go down that road, and there's a pond in the back down there. There's a small shed that's right in the middle of the fairway. That's where well number 7 is.
Okay.
And the county owns the airport park and Lake McGregor and all the surrounding areas. We have a 99-year lease with them. So anything that we do on the property, we've got to first bring it in front of the county to have them review it and approve it. And then any kind of improvements that we do, we work with the county. And they've been wonderful
Yeah,
with
they-
this process all the way through.
they've
They
been
actually
very
secured a
good.
grant to help assist us with the airport park development of $100,000 for drainage on the back end. So that really saved on our end. That helped us out there.
That's good, I'd like to see that, happen a little more often, whenever we can get it together.
Yeah,
Yep.
Good government, town, county working together.
yep. Yeah, no, they've been super on this project, and so thank you to the
Thanks, Neil.
county. Yeah, do you have, anybody else have any questions regarding this? No? Okay, so Jimmy, the next one is, consider request to authorize payment for license agreement with ACE-CAP, which is American Society of Composers and Authors, for the 2020 Sunset Concert Series, which is an awesome series every year.
So, yeah, we've been doing this, this goes all the way back to Tom Costello, way, way back. So every year we have to do this with the ASCAP. It's not a large fee, but it covers a license agreement for any kind of music that town plays on, from the phone service to any of our outdoor concerts, anything that we do with the day camper or senior programs. The only thing it does not cover would be any outdoor movies, or if there's anything where we charge for people to come to see an outdoor movie or come to see a concert,
Okay.
then you'd have to get in, if you review the packet, we would have to, a portion of the profits would have to go back to them.
We don't charge.
No, we don't
No,
charge for it.
everything's
Yep.
free. Yeah, it's wonderful. So hopefully this year, a lot of people come out to use it. Does anybody have any questions on that item? No. So Jimmy, number 6 is consider request of the Mahopac Sports Association to construct a support building at Airport Park. So, go ahead.
So I have assistants here if you guys have any questions on this project, but
Yep.
Mahopac Sports Association, going all the way back to 2008, when we developed the master plan, has said, and they've always said, we will be helping assist this park and moving it along. Whatever the town needs to help out with getting this project moving forward. So we thought the best would be to have them look at a support building for the park, which would house bathrooms, a snack area that they would use for any different kind of tournaments, for, say, lacrosse, soccer, any other activities that are out there, a meeting room in the center of it, where the kids could go in and congregate before and after games, or if they want to have any parties out there, or if the town wanted to use it for any kind of activities. So we're very fortunate that we have a real solid group of volunteers in MSA, qualified builders that have a proven record of doing things throughout the town. Baldwin Meadows is a perfect example. They stepped up and they really built the whole park for the town. Did a phenomenal job down there. And they stand behind it. They've always helped out at that park, whatever we needed. So we put together a building. It's gone in front of the Recreation Committee. They reviewed it and approved it. We actually saw a similar building. Susie was up with us with a number of other people. The volunteers have built one in town as a residence house. And it's a beautiful building. It's a prefab, it comes as a kit. We've designed the inside to meet all of our needs. So this is something that we're hoping that the town board would take this donation. It'll save the town a tremendous amount of money on the front end. We would have an investment in the building where we've budgeted $100,000 as part of the airport project to put pavers around this whole building, over to the pavilion, walkways all around. All of the bathroom fixtures, the town we would go and bid out and have those provided to be installed out there. Anything that we can help out in the concession stand, any of the sinks, so on. The security system for the park, I was out there today, we we were out with CIE Securities, went over the whole master plan of the park and the building. So we have money in this year's budget to cover the security system plus fire and alarm system. We would have, I forget what you call them, the doors, we'd have a swipe pad when you come and someone wanted to use the building, a coach or wanted to get in. We would know who's going in and out, when they're going in and out. So this is going to be a real nice high-tech facility that we're putting together.
And I want to thank the resident who let us come and look at his building, and I know I mentioned that night, it would also be kind of neat to have that as a warming station or a comfort station, you know, when the lights go out, for the residents on that side of the town. On this side of the town, they can come here to Town Hall, and over there, you know, after this is built, you can head over there. So it's a multi-purpose building. You know, I was very impressed with it. Yeah, so thank you to the resident. I don't want to say their name because I don't know if they want me to say it, but I want to thank them for.
Well, the
for allowing me
building's
to come
actually
in.
going to have a generator there.
Yeah.
So if there's any issues with any
With
power.
the electric, it comes, yeah.
Yep.
You mentioned that night, that's when I
And
said.
it'll have
a
full
warming,
heating, air
it would be
conditioning. I mean, it's going to be a
perfect.
top-notch facility.
Yeah.
And the town, what we're doing on the final end, Senator Harkin was able to provide a $250,000 grant that we're working on right now that is going to provide funding for the playground and also for the pavilion there. So we feel, we've got the main part of the park, everything financially covered at this point. There'll be things coming forward, the finishing touches, soccer goals, some inside perimeter fencing that we want to do around the fields. We're going to have some other things that we'll be able to handle through our recreation budget and some of our capital lines.
Okay, perfect.
Quick question.
So
What's the-
I'm going to open it up for any discussions from the board members.
I just had a quick question on the square footage of the building.
Yeah, it's 3,000 square feet.
Another question, any possibility to incorporate solar panels, to get some solar power up there?
It's funny you say that. The facility that we saw in town has solar panels on the
The
roof.
whole top.
So we were actually going to look at this and we talked to Fred about putting conduit in. So down the road, if we start saying having any lighting facilities out at this park, we could use the solar power to offset the cost of lights out there. So, but we're not planning on putting it in for this initial phase. That's something that we did consider about possibly doing later on.
Okay. And anything towards a more greener environment as far as the septics?
Yeah, we're working with Inside Engineering. The plan has always been using waterless urinals, but any other, automatic flushes and different things that we could use that'll keep the water use down. The other is the snack bar. That's where you can have a tremendous amount of water being used, where somebody just turns the faucet on and it's running throughout an event. So those are areas that we're going to be looking to see if we can try to conserve there.
Jim, with regard to the building, I know that you had said volunteers are going to do it, and we don't have to think back too far to remember there was an incident that happened
Yes.
years ago with some volunteers, and we've made some corrections at that time. Dave, remember we talked about it? I know you said volunteers are going to do it, but these are not just dad's weekend warrior type guys.
No, they're
Can you-
insured
can you-
contractors.
Well, that's what I mean,
And
you
then-
had said volunteers, but can you specify as to who's going to be doing the work?
These
And
guy-
number one, and also that, he's an experienced builder in town, very reputable, and the fact that insurance was provided to the town as well.
Yes, yeah, we'll be, so we have Fred Rieger and Scooter, it's Mark Hatchett. Those are the two lead guys that we're going to have on the job.
Right.
They'll be covering it, and then we have a whole variety of people throughout town that are electricians, plumbers, that have come forward, and they're going to be helping out with this project.
As long as there's insurance, number one, it's qualified people doing the work, and the town is protected as far as liability, God forbid.
Yeah.
But from what I know of Scooter's work, and, it's not an issue, but we definitely need to make sure that we're covered.
And we have Rich and Mike Carnazza, they're both going to be heavily involved with this project.
Yeah, and, with regard to the building itself, this is a prefab type, right?
Yes,
So it's coming in its pieces?
yep.
So is there somebody from the building company that comes in and sees, to make sure that, the design is lined
Well,
up
what-
as far as
you get-
with
you
the
get
plan,
a-
with the
you get a-
specs?
You get a stamped set of
Dave?
plans. So, yeah, jump
Yeah.
up here.
No, I know, but usually sometimes they have somebody, one of their experts come.
Hi, guys. It's a prefabricated metal building.
Right.
So it comes fully engineered. They'll have a licensed PE from New York State will sign and seal the drawings. The folks installing it are certified installers.
Okay.
Right, so both of these companies are both certified. They install these buildings. They went, wherever they went to class to learn how to put the buildings
Good
up.
enough.
We will take the plans to the engineering and the building department here, just like we would go through building a house, right? They'll
Right.
review the plans, make sure everything's to code and compliant, and then we'll go to town. But they're anxious to go, and especially it's been a pretty mild winter up until this last week or so, so everybody's kind of got the heebie-jeebies, want to get out there, but hopefully, we'd like to start this as soon as we can, so.
Yeah, I walked it 2 Saturdays ago when I called you guys, and I walked inside and the perimeter, I hopped the fence, but anyway. There's a fence on, I believe it was Scott Road, that looks like it's down, that I'm,
It's an old gate there, yeah.
yeah, but, it's very easy for somebody with, moped or anything else
The
to
local-
go
the
through.
local residents actually use that gate.
Yeah, I understand, but,
Yeah, that's where we're gonna be
we've had
bringing-
issues in the past where,
Yeah.
destruction has happened because,
Yeah. That's where we're gonna be coming through with the utilities, but I will address that. We've got to remove some trees
just
and,
secure it and,
Yeah, and tighten
yeah.
that.
That was all wooded
before.
before we put the other fence in.
yeah.
So that goes back to when the airport was there. It was a long time ago.
Regardless, it needs to be secured.
Yep, I'll take care
We
of
don't need, we have this great project going in, and
Yep.
let's protect
hear
what
you.
we do, all right?
Does anyone else have any questions, comments?
Any chance we can get a vote quicker on that? I didn't realize you guys don't have a work or a voting meeting next week? Because they want to be able to order this material.
I would have to go to Greg, but I think in order to vote on it, we would have to have all of the
Okay.
insurances and everything prior, Jimmy.
Prior? Okay.
So as much as I would love to, I just don't, Greg, and correct me if I'm wrong.
Put it on for the next meeting for consideration.
Yeah.
So we can discuss it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be in 2 weeks, because like you said, we don't meet next week, unfortunately. Yeah,
It's going to snow on Saturday,
Yeah.
Jim.
No, but they have to, the plans have to be,
understand.
Right,
there's a
yeah,
lot of,
yep.
lot of headway here, so. Figure we could save a couple
So in
weeks.
the meantime, just try to get together whatever information we may need to be able to put on the voting session for next week, 2 weeks.
Greg, you
Okay.
just need their insurance, right? Is that what? Yeah, that's easy enough. I'll have,
And so long we know we're going forward, I did speak to both Mike and Rich today and over the last few days. So we'll get them we'll start to have them start the review process as well. We'll start to get the stuff in there. We'll do a preliminary with Mike. He can tell us we're missing this, this, and this, and start the process. At least we won't waste these 2 weeks, right?
Right.
Yep.
We'll keep moving.
Yeah, all right, perfect. Thank you.
We're done?
That's it. Jimmy, I think you're done. But, if you don't mind, if you can stay till the end of the meeting, just in
I'll be
case
here.
some of the residents here have questions. Okay, so the next is number 7, Rich Franzetti, consider request to attend a conference, New York Water Environment Association, February 4th, 2020, at the New York City Marriott Marquis. Rich?
You essentially covered everything on that one.
I know.
So the NIWEA Conference, New York Water Environment Association, is in the New York City Marriott Marquis. It runs Monday, February 3rd through Wednesday, February 5th. The entire week is about $545. The cost for a single day is $355. I have reviewed the conference brochure, and a single day at the conference should suffice, and recommend the board consider approving attendance for Tuesday, February 4th. Part of the reason is that there'll be a presentation, the final probably presentation of the Asset Management Pilot Program, along with other asset management seminars. As the board may know, that we're kicking off we're finishing up the 3-year asset management program, where we had one requested to participate in that pilot program for sewer districts 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we're starting the asset management program on Fridays, the kickoff meeting for the remaining sewer and water districts here in the town of Carmel.
Great.
There are sufficient funds in the budget for me to attend this conference.
All right, perfect. Any questions, comments? Okay. Number 8, Rich, consider request to authorize purchase of pressure regulating valve for Carmel Sewer District Number 2.
So Infomark, the operators of Carmel Sewer District 2, has alerted the engineering department that the pressure reducing valve for the microfiltration units needs to be replaced. This unit regulates the air pressure to a specific range that's safe and efficient for all the components, such as actuators and backwashing sequencing. The life expectancy is generally 8 to 10 years, depending on the environment. This one is about 12 years old, and it's from the original installation. Infomark has indicated that the replacement of this equipment is sole source and has obtained a quote from the manufacturer, and the cost is $5,892.75. We request that the town board authorize the purchase of this part. There are sufficient funds in the Carmel Sewer District 2 budget to make this purchase.
Okay, perfect. Any questions? All right. Next one, Rich, number 9, consider request to authorize purchase and installation of communator for Carmel Sewer District Number 2 Mechanic Street Pump Station.
So Infomark, the operators of Carmel Sewer District 2, has alerted the engineering department that the comminutor or sewage grinder used at the Mechanic Street Pump Station in Sewer 2 is not functioning. It cannot be repaired. They requested and received quotes for the replacing of the unit. The first one from G. Page Jaeger is $18,188.94. The other one is Process Systems at $19,389.88. The original unit at this site was 18 years old, and the life expectancy of the new equipment is approximately 15 years old. Infomark will install the unit at a cost of $500. This is a potential compliance issue as the comminutor is currently not working and a blockage could occur causing raw wastewater to overflow at this pump station, and we would therefore be in violation of our state pollution discharge elimination system permit. There are sufficient funds in the Sewer District 2 budget for this work. We request that the board authorize the purchase of this comminutor from G. Page Jaeger at that cost of $18,688.94. This is emergency installation. It's already been placed on order. This is more to make the board aware of this purchase going on.
Right, perfect. Thank you, Rich. Any questions?
No, thank you.
No, okay.
Just, I want to make the board aware that there is another, I forget what site it's at, but I think it's in Sewer 2, one of the comminutors in a different pump station. The teeth, with the way this thing works, it kind of goes down in the air, these teeth that spin around, and it breaks up whatever is coming through, so it can pass it back through the system. The teeth on that system are gone. Infomark is actually getting me a price for the replacement of the teeth, not the whole unit, so it should be less. And I
Okay.
believe at Sewer District 4, we do need a comminutor at the front end of the plant, and Rob will be coming to the board in a few weeks with that also.
All right, thank you. So item number 10 is the request to authorize advertise for bids for the purchase and installation of sand filter roof for Carmel Sewer District Number 2.
So as the board is aware, we solicited proposals from qualified engineering firms to provide structural investigation and engineering reports for financing and bid documents and specifications, CA, and for the replacement of the Carmel Sewer District 2 sand filter roof. The board authorized Delaware Engineering to prepare those plans and specification necessary to go out. Those plans have been completed. We had our final meeting this afternoon. At this time, the engineering department requested authorization to let the project out for public bid. These are completed. Similar to Jim's schedule, if you approve this next Thursday, we'll be ready to put the public notice out. Sorry, next Wednesday, we'll put in 2 weeks. We'll put the notice out on that Thursday. We'll advertise the bids the following week and have something back by March 13th so we can present to the board on that March 20, whatever, 6th or whatever meeting that is in March with whoever the low bids are on this.
Okay.
So,
Perfect, thank you. Number 11, I don't think Mike is here yet. It is a consider to request to authorize purchase of a sander, and he's requesting to purchase a sander. It's a Tornado Sander W78006-1 2.5 CY Poly Sander in the amount of $5,895 from Hudson River Truck and Trailer. He did get the 3 quotes, and this is the one that is the lowest price. So Mike has asked if we would consider that. Any questions?
No.
No? Okay. So number 12 is also Mike Simone, Highway Superintendent, to consider a request to accept proposal for fuel tank inspection recertification of the used diesel tank. This is per New York State DEC requirements. In order for the 4,000-gallon fuel tank to be utilized at Old Route 6, the tank must be recertified. Therefore, he is requesting authorization to pay PECO a total of $6,187. And furthermore, this additional expense is within the budgeted amount for this project. There's 2 site inspections. One is for $3,387, and the second site visit by the tank manufacturer is $2,800. Again, for a total of $6,187. Any questions? Good. Again, for Mike Simone, Highway Superintendent, renewal of agreement for annual weather service. And this is, he's requesting authorization to continue his annual weather service plan with DTN LLC vendor number 3941 at $774 per quarter, or an annual cost of $3,090. Again, this is the provider of precipitations and short-term temperature forecasts. Any questions? No. So number 14, also
find out this
with
weekend.
Highway Superintendent, he's asking to authorize emergency purchase of a head gasket for truck number 28. It's for truck number 28, it's a 2013 Kworth T370, and it's in the amount of $10,296.22. He did get 3 quotes, and Ben Funk Inc. was the lowest quote, and that's who he's asking for us to authorize. Any questions? No? Number 15, again, Mike Simone, Highway Superintendent, authorize emergency purchase parts for a motor rebuild, truck number 49. He is requesting payment for the attached invoice, again, to Ben Funk Inc. in the amount of $18,572.22. This is for the parts to rebuild a motor. He said the engine in this vehicle malfunctioned during the December 16th, 2019 3-day storm. As this plow truck is required equipment for emergency snow removal, we could not wait to order the parts. Ben Funk was the only vendor with parts readily available, and that was for truck number 49 in the amount of $18,572.22. Any questions?
No.
So the next one, Greg, I think you're going to handle?
Okay, the board is aware that, I want to say in April or May, that Centennial Golf Club had asked for a zoning change. They filed a petition for a zoning change with the town, which was referred to the planning board, as you're required to do under section 156.76 or -76 of the town code. That had gone through some discussions at the board level between the town's consultants and the applicant. Ultimately, here about 3 or 4 weeks ago, they withdrew that petition and filed a new one. And this is what's known as a text amendment. So as opposed to proposing to rezone an entire area, it's a conceptual amendment where the idea is that the residential redevelopment of golf courses will be permitted under your code, which it currently is not. Your code is, if it's specifically stated in it, it's permitted. If it's not, if it's silent, it's deemed to be not permitted. So this would be something that would be affirmatively added to the code, should the petition be granted. The process is fairly simple. You have the petition, the fee was paid. At some point, you are mandated to send that to the planning board. It's not permissive. You have to send it to the planning board. The planning board then has 45 days to make its recommendation, either a positive recommendation, negative recommendation, conditioned positive or negative recommendation. And then if the board here wants to act after the planning board, then you would do a public hearing process where the code could conceivably be amended in the form in the petition or any other version that maybe the planning board recommends. But the first step in that process is you get the petition, and I think we got this in the beginning of the year, about 3 weeks ago, is to send it to the planning board for their review, and that start the clock on that 45-day period, which is what you would be doing, when you vote on that.
Okay.
That's the process, and then anybody who wants to be heard on it, you would have to conduct public hearings before you change the code in any event. The planning board's not. That's just a discussion and a recommendation, but it's certainly done in the public. It's just not necessarily a public hearing format.
All right,
Okay.
perfect. Anybody have any comments? No? Okay. And the last item is to consider request to accept proposal for special counsel, Mahopac Volunteer Fire Department. This is for the Pinsky Law Group, and it is just a flat fee retainer for the Mahopac Fire Department. We've been doing this for some time now, and we're just asking for him to do it. I'm just trying to see how much it was.
22?
20,000? 20,000, Mary Ann, thank you. So it's $20,000 for the year. So any questions on that? No? Okay, so that ends our public, our work session meeting. So now we are open to public comment for 3 minutes on agenda item only. Residents only come up, and you have 3 minutes to speak on agenda items only. Do we have anybody? Any takers? Nick?
Good evening. My name is Nick Fannin. I actually live over on the Kelly Ridge subdivision, that little neighborhood there that's pretty close to Centennial Golf Course. So I'd like to have a comment and bring up a few things to the board with regards to number 16 tonight. I'm happy to hear that is being referred to back to the planning board, and thank you for explaining the process. I'm also happy to hear that it will be going through a series of reviews because this is not just a simple project anymore, it's actually asking to amend our town code. So there's a few couple of high-level points that I want to bring up for the board's consideration as this project and this potential amendment makes its way through the process. First of all, as if any of you have read, and I'm sure you have, the detailed summary that the petitioners have provided, redevelopment of golf courses is not something new, but it's picked up in recent years, not only here in New York, across the country. There's been a few of them that have happened around the Hudson Valley here, and as the petitioners have also pointed out, some of them have gone well in the community, and some of them have gone with problems, or they rose a lot of contention among the communities. Because there's a lot of interest at play with regards to this. The petitioner has also done a significant amount of research and investigation into the changes required for the town code, such as the conversions of the zoning ordinances that we have, and the desire to work with both the town to meet its the desire for the petitioner to work with the town to meet its commercial needs, the needs of the town, the needs of the communities is commendable. They've actually in there indicated that they'd be more than willing to adopt conditional zoning, deed restrictions, et cetera. So I'm also very happy to hear that we're in a very amicable position at this point. However, this is a delicate topic, and smart development is more than just the vision of what the petitioner has provided. We also need very smart legislation in place here. And I mean, it's this board's responsibility, and you guys have taken it very seriously in your actions, thinking about our long-term plan and our master plan as that's coming out with regards to our town code. So there are many case studies about golf course rezoning and conversions, different frameworks that towns can use, and I want to really encourage this board, when it comes back to you, to make sure that you do a proper study and a proper research into which frameworks we should be using. There's a lot of ones out there that aren't well suited for our town, and there are some that are well suited for our town. I strongly suggest that the town board take the time to make sure you're doing the research into these different frameworks we can use, and don't just take the recommendation of the petitioner who is looking to have this project done at face value. There is many types of golf course redevelopment plans, including total conversions, which this is not one of. But there's different aspects that they can include in town code, such as including differences in land use calculations, the open space, using mixed use versus town center type development programs, which we do not have really in our code at this time. So I wanted to make sure that we, as a town and as the town board, have the options available and explore all options available for this type of conversion. I also want to encourage the public to be consulted and included as much as possible, especially with the neighborhoods in the vicinity of this proposed redevelopment. There are many ways to do this, including public hearings, as we will have, with the town code potential changes. But there's also charrettes similar to what Councilwoman McDonough has done for our master plan. Those certainly would be open forums dedicated to talking through this with all stakeholders. Town hall presentation meetings, similar to what we've had with Carmel Water District 2 the infrastructure plans that have been put in place. So there's putting informational pamphlets out there, whatever it is, but this will impact the community greatly. Not just the abutting houses, but the several dedicated communities that are right around there, including mine. I also want to throw in the monkey wrench that this is right on the border of us and Brewster, Carmel and Brewster, and there are a number of Brewster communities there that will also be impacted by this change. I don't know what methods we could use to actually influence or to talk to those communities, but I mean, this is still our community. They're still our neighbors, and we should make sure that we're being good neighbors with regards to this kind of project. I also want to strongly recommend that this project be considered in relation to the aforementioned project initiatives, including the master plan, since this is a potential zoning code change that we're making. The fact that we have the Carmel Water District 2 infrastructure projects going on, make sure that that's taken into consideration with this project. And East Carmel Sewer District 2 infrastructure, which we had a large presentation of, and actually this was last year. At that time, it was discussed how the Carmel Sewer District 2's infrastructure was almost at capacity. So adding an additional 96 units into this district, what would that do to our actual capacity? What would that actually do to our infrastructure? Is anything needed to actually bolster that? And also the Fair Street capital improvement plans that are currently going on with the Belize State and County. They are planning on repaving, as most of you know, and putting in sidewalks all the way up to my community, actually, Kelly Ridge, but not past that. And so, considering that they're redoing some of this road, but this non-conforming road is not going to be extended, the conforming part of it will not be extended to the actual entrance of this new one, is another thing to be taken into consideration. I know a lot of this needs to go to the planning board, and I certainly intend to be there. This really is two different aspects. There's the specific project that we're talking about, that is the actual, centennial redevelopment, but there's also the changes to our code, and that's the one I'm strictly putting on this board, and my suggestions and recommendations about looking very closely about how this impacts not only this specific project, but all projects moving forward, and how it ties into these other larger initiatives that you're currently undertaking. I think that's it. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you, Nick. Is there anyone else in the audience? Yep.
I didn't realize, hi, Neil Sullivan, Town of Mayapack. I didn't realize that 16 was on the agenda. So I do want to just mention and speak to it, not as eloquently as Nick did, because he really covered all the facts of it. But I will say that just from a very high level that I'm not in favor of changing from 3-acre zoning to 1-acre zoning, which this seems to propose, and all the issues that go along with it that Nick mentioned. Is it just that project? Is it town-wide that the zoning would change? A lot of questions that will come up, but when I first heard about the project and the kind of the cluster housing that's proposed there, and the burden that it would put on the existing infrastructure, and then the reasons why we actually went to 3-acre zoning, to kind of not have these kinds of projects in town anymore. So I just want to mention that if we're considering that, I'm not a big fan of going the other way now. We went to 3-acre for a reason, and I think we should continue with the 3-acre. Thanks.
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you.
Anyone else that would like to come up? No? Okay. Does any town board member have any comments on the agendas? No? All right. So now the open forum is open for any town-related business. 3 minutes for any town resident. Is there anyone here? No? Okay. Do you want to talk about that? Any We just have a few a few notices. If Bob and Frank would do that.
No, I was trying to see where it's from.
It's big enough for him, Mike.
It's not very nice. So the Town of Carmel Recreation and Parks Department has open registration for winter classes. Classes begin February 2nd. To see the classes that are being offered this winter, visit the town's website at www.carmelnewyork.org/recreation, or you can call the recreation office at 845, Jimmy will pick up the phone, Jim, pick up the phone, 845-628-7888. And again, classes and registration, classes start on the 2nd, registration is now open.
Thanks, Frank.
Also have a notice of vacancies. It's listed on the town's website. And a notice of vacancies are as follows. The Town Board of the Town of Carmel is looking for interested and qualified persons to fill one vacancy on the Planning Board and one vacancy on the Board of Assessment Review. Please submit a letter of interest and resume to Supervisor Kenneth Smith, Carmel Town Hall, 60 McCaplin Avenue, Mahopac, New York, 10541. You could fax it also to 845-628-6836, or email amp2@ci.carmel.ny.us, to be submitted to the Supervisor's Office by January 31st, 2020. For additional information, please check our website at www.carmelnewyork.org.
Great, thank
Thank
you,
you.
Bob. So again, as we've mentioned numerous times, there is no meeting next week, so everyone have a very safe weekend. I know Mike said that there's possibly some snow coming, so enjoy the snow. All right, meeting adjourned. I make a motion to,
Motion to close.
all right, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, Mike, I took care of it. Don't worry about it, Mike. I took care of it.
He was waiting outside.
All right, thank you, everyone.